We're just pressing a few buttons here, hoping that you can see me and that I can read what you're saying. This is Tim Newton today, the Saturday version with a slightly crooked camera. And there it is. It looks like it's going to be coming up. Very sorry about all that. I pressed all the buttons and nothing happened. But there you go. That's the internet for you. So welcome to TNT, our Saturday version. And we're going to be talking a bit about political investigations. And this is all a little bit of a follow-up to a raid on I think they're calling it a party den on the news. Just tell me if you can hear me, by the way. Make sure that everything is working before we sort of get to all the work this morning. Also got a lot of questions from you to answer from the past couple of days, partly in response to comments that you made and also questions posed on mostly yesterday's program. Okay, so sorry about that, very sorry. We had a little bit of a technical problem and I'm not very clever, and as I always keep on saying, it's a one-man band, and you can see what's going on here. Got some questions here on the iPad, got the feed there, and this is where I am this morning at Boat Lagoon, and also enjoying the food here at Dean and DeLuca. But anyway, enough of that. Let's get stuck into the program. And I thought what we might do is address some of these comments and questions from the last few days. I've got my iPad pencil that I can wave at you, so that makes it all the better. From Ian Black, who said, let's just call the place Burma. I'll pull this out. After all, have you ever heard of a Myanmar cat? No, but everyone knows a Burmese cat. Send in the SAS and fly the Union Jack. Oh my God, am I living in a dream world? We can't even stop Britain getting invaded by the Albanian mafia. Okay, just unpacking all that. In regards to whether it's Burma or Myanmar, it's a bit of a style thing with the media. So, yes, the place is called officially the Republic of the Union of Myanmar, I think it's called, officially. So everybody calls the country Myanmar, but when it comes to adjectives and describing the border or the people, it's the Burmese people, or it's the Burmese border, or the Thai-Burmese border. So it's used as an adjective, Burmese, and the Burmese people call themselves Burmese. So it's not really, you can't really call them Myanmarese, and apart from sounding a little bit odd, it's not sort of technically correct. So thank you very much, Ian, for that comment. Britain getting invaded by the Albanian mafia. I'm sorry, I don't know where you're going with that. To our next comment, overall, this is from Scott D. Hi, Scott. Overall, how would you rate your recent trip to Australia? Very busy, but I'm very, very glad to get back. In fact, when I sat on the plane, I was saying, I can't wait to get back home. So I really do consider Thailand my home these days. As far as Australia is concerned, it's become very expensive, much more expensive than I sort of remembered, even taking into account the sort of basic inflation that would have taken place in the 11 years since I've been living here. Anyway, so to your second question, also you made a recent statement that really caught my attention, regards, maybe half jokingly, and it was, about you burning your shirts during the floating homemade raft ceremony. Okay, so I said that I was going to get all my old flowery sort of Songkran shirts, some of them more outrageous than others, and I was going to float them all out on a Patong during the Loy Krathong festival, which is in about 2 weeks, 2 Tuesdays away, and I was half joking. What's actually going to happen with the shirts is they're going to be donated to a group called Seas of Change. And Seas of Change does a fantastic job in turning sort of hand-me-downs and other people's sort of repurposed fabrics, including old shirts and things, into little toy elephants. Some of them very small and some of them bigger. So we'll show you more about that. I'm going to do a video about it. It's just a matter of time, and I was waiting till I got back from Australia to do the video, but they're going to be donated, and then I hope to get those elephants and then maybe auction them off. So that's the whole idea, and we'll donate the money to charity. So yes, I was honestly wondering if the statement had a deeper meaning than just the shirts. Well, probably. I mean, I'm very happy to divest myself of any connection to my past employment. That's all in the past. I've moved forward. There were some words said, some things that happened, and I'm very happy to leave them in the past. All I can say is I'm in a much better situation financially, emotionally, and lifestyle-wise now that I'm doing TNT. And I'm delighted that you're following me in the journey. To the next question. I will get to your comments later. From Beldar's Lament. Beldar's Lament. Thailand, stop obsessively going after wealthy foreigners. Your value proposition doesn't match up, sorry, but you need to accept it. Visa-wise, go after Western, middle-class people and retirees who want a comfortable life. I think we should perhaps let anybody, middle class or otherwise, who wants to come and retire here to do so, not just Westerners. Really, why just Westerners? Lower the bars, guys, and lower the bar. And let the long-term residents own one piece of property without all the investing bollocks. Yes, this week they announced that officially foreigners will be able to purchase property here in Thailand, up to, I think, 1 rai. And I got 1,000 messages, people telling me what 1 rai was compared to an acre. I've already forgotten, but thank you very much for those people who clarified that in the comments section. So interesting comment there, Belder's Lament, and thank you very much. Down Under Digger asks a question. When are Thais, this very, very small writing on my pad, when are Thais going to stop wearing masks? Earlier this year, visited Oz and recently returned from travelling across many European countries, and trying to find someone wearing a mask was like trying to find Wally in the picture. Returning to Thailand was like day one in the pandemic. Okay, so Thai people are generally very health conscious. Maybe some of them enjoy being sick, only a few. But generally they are risk averse, and I think you will see a lot of wearing of masks going on in Thailand by the general population for a long time to come. Up in Bangkok, still a lot of people, I mean most people, walking around the streets wearing masks. As far as going to public buildings, some buildings still insist on it. Certainly immigration in Phuket, for example, they insisted on people wearing a mask even as late as this week. So it's still one of those situations where I would say if you come here, by all means walk around without a mask, but just perhaps have one of the cheap 7-Eleven sort of 5 baht masks in your pocket in case you are required to wear one. So that's my comment about that. But I think you'll find Thais generally are probably going to keep wearing masks for quite a long time. A Kiwi in Thailand answered a question I posed yesterday in the program, asking what was the name of the US president's escort vehicle. And it, of course, is the Beast, which is a sort of a 4-ton beefed up Cadillac. I think people gave me quite a lot of information about that. I thought it was called Big Ben or Iron Gate or something, but yes, it was called the Beast. Thank you very much for that. Aussie666, I think you're online too, Aussie, aren't you? Says, is that a Jack Vetriano print of Bluebird on your wall? I have his singing butler in my living room, sadly not the original. Yes, Jack Vetriano is, if I have a favourite painter, my favourite painter, despite the name Jack Vetriano, who's actually Scottish. And I love his work, and he's not really taken seriously by the sort of high art world. A couple of little birds just invaded the area. They'll be chased out, I'm sure, by the staff. So yeah, Jack Vetriano, it is a bluebird. I've got another one of his sort of prints on another wall, so thank you very much for asking. Hi Tim, did you get kicked out of Thailand, says Seascapes. This is Thailand, where I am now. No, I haven't been kicked out of Thailand. And I'm not sure why you would think I got kicked out of Thailand, but no, I got stamped back with a smile on my passport when I arrived the other day. Scotty Mac, how was your Scoot upgrade? And great to see you're using WTF to get your news stories. WTF, World Trade, WTF. I'm not sure about the second part. About the first part, Scoot. Yes, I flew Scoot, which is a discount airline owned entirely by Singapore Airlines, or majority owned by Singapore Airlines. It was a Boeing 787, which are the craft they use for their long-haul routes in Asia. And I flew from Phuket to Singapore, Singapore to Melbourne, and then on return flew from Sydney to Singapore, Singapore to Phuket. Everything went fine, flights on time. The only problems were the 5-hour layover on the way over and the 7-hour layover on the way back. Just the way things worked out. Now, the only comment I would have, but by the way, Scoot Plus is sort of a semi-domestic plus, semi-business class. The seat is bigger, you get a meal thrown in. It's the same meal that's served to the people in cattle class and economy, but you get it included in your fare. You get up to 30 kilograms of luggage, and you get to get on the plane first. You get a queue at the airport to check in. That's sort of about it. So I had absolutely no problems. I wanted a decent seat because both the long-haul flights were overnight, so I was hoping to get a few Zs on the way, which I did. The only problem is with these discount airlines generally, and WTF, I know WTF what it usually means, WTF what the but I'm not sure in relation to this question. Anyway, I'm moving right along. So, because these discount airlines are charging for your luggage, what it's doing is it's forcing people who are trying to sort of, get around the rules to pack as much as they can into as large a bag as they can get away with, and then try and get it on board with cabin luggage that goes up in the lockers above. So these planes have not been designed for 100% of the passengers to have the largest bag possible to put up in the lockers. But what's happening now is that, for example, the plane from Singapore back to Phuket was 100% full, and they were 70 or 80% loaded, and people found that there was no more room in the overhead lockers. So they said to people, look, we cannot put any more luggage in the overhead lockers. You're going to have to put it in the luggage hold underneath, the cargo hold underneath the plane, which caused a lot of consternation. Oh, it's my right to have this luggage. Oh, you've got no right to do this, and blah, blah, blah. And it caused about a 20-minute delay as they had to convince people, and they had to shuffle things around and move people, and they had to get luggage out. And some people said, oh, you can take my luggage, and they'd take it out, and somebody else had to put their luggage. It was just such a mess. But it's a bit of a problem that the discount airlines have caused by charging so much for luggage. I understand what they're trying to do. Their business model is providing a cheap seat and then charging for all the add-ons. But a bit like the way that some media companies run their businesses these days. But the problem is that now people are getting used to getting as much into their bags and taking them on the plane. But anyway, I can say that I thought the Scoot Airlines was absolutely fine. For a cheap fare, you're going to get a seat and nothing more. You're going to have to pay for the rest. For Scoot Plus, it wasn't that much more. I got my seats quite reasonably. I think it worked out around about $400 or $500 Australian each way, and I thought that was quite reasonable. Probably a bit more than I would have paid for economy on, say, Qantas or Singapore Airlines before the pandemic, but I got to sleep. The plane went up, the plane went down. It was very quiet at the front of the plane, so I was quite happy about that. Eddie MD, hi Tim, did you do presenting, public speaking training in your career, or has the presenting skills come with time and practice? Interesting question, Eddie. I've never done any work like this before. Most of my career has been spent sort of behind the camera, organising events, producing videos, making people look pretty to go on video. But I've never done any formal training. I suppose it comes from just doing it. And I started doing it pretty much as a dare, and then realising what I was doing wrong, a lot of people telling me what I was doing wrong, and just going from there. So thank you. I will try and improve my skills. I'll try and make sure you can understand what I'm saying. I'll try and make sure that what I'm saying is cogent and sometimes even interesting. And but no formal training whatsoever. I think, and maybe I'm wrong, but it's not something that you can teach to a large degree. I think you can teach people to speak better. You can teach people how to do their research. But there's something, some sort of X factor that you can't teach. And I think I'm lucky to be born with some ability to communicate. And I'm aware of it. It's something that I'm now trying to culture and to hone. But in some ways, I don't think you can automatically make a good presenter out of anybody. I think a lot of it is sort of a born talent, if you like. That's just the way I see it. I might be entirely wrong. I often am. Let's go to the remaining questions here on my little iPad. I didn't format it very well, did I? Look the way I'm reading it. The Aussie-wee, I call them a Kiru. If you're half Australian, half Kiwi like me. Tim joined the club yesterday. Oh, Tim joined your club yesterday. Talking about the skin cancers here. Had a cancer removed at hospital from my nose and lip. Good to get rid of them. Wife's happy I can't talk much for a while. Yes, I had three basal cell carcinomas removed. They're all benign, none of them are a problem, and had one there, and one there. I'm hoping with this one that they cut enough out that they were able to stretch the skin a little bit to give me a bit of a cheap facelift. Not sure if it worked or not, but there's no pain. I've got to keep these stitches. I put these skin-coloured patches on just to make me look a little bit less hideous, but the stitches come out on Monday week, I think. So no problems, there's no pain. The first night was a bit painful, a couple of paracetamol, all sorted. So good luck to you, Aussie-wee, and a lot of Australians and Kiwis with their outdoor lifestyle and that extremely bright sunshine in the Southern Hemisphere. You get to my age and you do get into a situation where you do have to get these removed. So there we go. And that's it. That's all your questions and comments from yesterday. I'll scroll back through here and see if I can address any comments or questions that were made. Now, somebody actually made a comment about membership. So I think it's to do with a company I used to work for now only allowing members to participate in the comments section. Excuse me. I can't confirm that, I'm not sure. But what I can say is I'm not going to have members on this channel. I understand it's something that YouTube likes us to do because it brings them more income, of which some they give to the content provider. So I don't think membership is a good deal. I mean, it's not as if I can really provide any additional services to members, so I'm basically not going to have members. However, I have allowed a thing called Super Chat. Now, Super Chat is a way that people can absolutely voluntarily, if they feel inclined, make a contribution to the channel. It's totally goodwill. And I have left that as an option. So I thought what I'd do is I'll just leave that as an option. There's absolutely no obligation. I'm not even asking you to contribute. It's there as an option for those people that may get some sort of entertainment value. They may feel that they've enjoyed the program, or they had a question answered that they weren't able to get the information from other sources. Whatever the reason is, I have made that an option, but that's about as far as we're going on the YouTube channel. However, we are going to be offering a service called TNT Choices, and that'll be starting in the next few weeks when I get it all sorted out. And TNT Choices will be approved or endorsed services in regards to things like visas, insurances, things like getting licenses, things where there are services available and people have questions. Wig Alert, thank you so much. I don't want to start a thing where people feel inclined that they should, but thank you very much for that extremely generous donation. That's very kind. But please, people, don't feel inclined to do this. You'll embarrass me. But the TNT Choices, I'll give people, they'll contact us, and we will then send out some contacts for them to get quotes. And then if they choose one of those quotes, then TNT will get a small commission. And that is a way that we think is a fair way for us to allow all viewers and all people who want to be involved to continue contributing and commentating. But we, if the people choose to use one of those services, will get a small commission. It'll be declared. More than that, the services won't cost any more. It's not as if the commission is added. It means that they are giving a slight discount, of which I will be getting the benefit of that discount. So there you go. We're going to be offering TNT Choices over the next few weeks. But I just got back from Australia, got to sort out the cat food, all the important things, get the pool cleaned, and then we will go ahead and do something about getting all that up and going. Had some conversations with some people that I've used for some of these services, because living here in Thailand, you're going to have to confront visas, you're going to have to confront things like insurances, getting licenses. I mean, so a lot of these things you can do yourself. Well, obviously you can't get insurance. You can get insurance yourself. But these will be ways that I've found have made my life a little bit easier here in Thailand. So they're going to be endorsed, they're going to be approved, so that at least you'll have some confidence in using those services. No sound, Tim. Sound all good. Okay, look, I mean, if we are having some problems at the start of the program today, Scott D. Amazing. You are a very kind man, Scott. Thank you very much. But I apologise if we are having a few technical problems. I've got an iPhone there, I've got an iPad there, and I've got a MacBook Pro there. And we're doing our best to make it all work. It's the internet today, I think. Hey Tim, what happened to your head? Oh, Fitzy, you just joined, obviously. I had some skin cancers removed. In the next few weeks, the stitches will be out, the scars won't be visible, and I'll go back to my usual handsome self. Don't worry, Fitzy, it's all going to be good. Thank you to Wig Alert and to Scott D, very kind people and very generous. Lee Shepherd, Sharon, once I get to see Saket, I'll be starting the channel. Oh, somebody promoting their own channel. Good for you. Okay, what else have we got here? I'll definitely be bringing people talking about what to bring to Thailand. I think this was a conversation that Frank in Thailand was having. Interesting concept of coming to Thailand without a whole lot of luggage. And because of the cost of luggage, especially if you're going on, say, a discount airline, you are right, Frank. Come with as little as you can get by. Pack a few clothes and your toothbrush and your passport and whatever else you might need, any medication, and just come, because the cost of luggage on some of these discount airlines will probably be more than just buying a couple of extra pairs of pants and shirts and a pair of shoes, which you can then just leave or donate to somebody when you're leaving. Because the cost of clothes you can get very cheaply, and they can be cheaper than, paying for a whole lot of luggage. But some people like wearing their own stuff, some people like dressing up more than others, and some people feel much more comfortable in their own selected clothes. That's fine. But in many cases, you'll have to pay for the pleasure. Okay, so addressing other comments today. Oh, before I get to that, let me have a talk about the latest political scandal. This is a juicy one, and I did promote it, ruling Thai party facing probe. So this is interesting. During the week, you'll remember that there was I think it was called a party den, raided by police. They had over 100 police in the raid. There was 247, mostly Chinese patrons, detained. Many checked for drugs. Many were drug affected at the time. And on it went. The reporting was such that they were after the owner. Once the owner was identified, whose name I don't have in front of me, I think I can find it. I'll just check here. His name is Chayanat Kunchayanat. Something like that. Didn't do very well, did I? So he is a Chinese citizen who's now been granted Thai citizenship. And he's made a donation of 3 million baht to the ruling Palang Pracharat Party, who is the leading member of the coalition that currently runs the Thai government. It's got the majority of seats in the lower house of parliament. So this is a bit of a scandal, because if the man had dual citizenship is recognised in Thailand, but not dual passports. And as far as a Chinese citizen's concerned, dual citizenship is not allowed. So he would have had to have renounced his Chinese citizenship, and Chinese don't allow dual passports either. So have the Palang Pracharat Party done anything illegal by accepting this 3 million baht from the alleged owner of this party den, which was hidden behind a car wash place in Patong? I don't know. Is there something wrong with accepting donations? Probably not. So this is all very interesting as the situation unfolds over the next few weeks. The Palang Pracharat Party have already contacted the Election Commission and told them what was happening, and said that, sorry, just adjusting things here, and said that they've accepted this donation and sort of laid their cards on the table. There's also been a number of formal complaints made by some, well, serial complainers who are always the same names, who have been bringing this to the attention of the Election Commission. So that's the situation with the Palang Pracharat Party accepting a donation from a former Chinese citizen who has accepted Thai citizenship, but he was called the Chinese businessman, but apparently he in fact is a Thai businessman who happened to be born in China. Anyway, we're going to hear more about that story, I would say, in the next couple of weeks, but that looks like it's going to be a little bit of an issue for the Palang Pracharat Party, understanding that we have an election coming up in Thailand somewhere between now and next May. I'm suggesting it's probably going to be sometime in April or early May next year. But the election campaign is already well underway. Okay, to donations are the norm in Thailand, says Chris Roberts. Well, yes, but they do have rules about political donations, and they're not allowed to come from overseas. That's one of the rules. And so some people saying, well, he was Chinese, but apparently not. What is the story with Phuket Go? Is that your new company? Says Steve Austin, talking about complainer-in-chief. Eileen Morris-Duke. I beg your pardon, Eileen Morris-Duke. Thank you very much. Much appreciated for your very kind donation to the channel. Please, if I can do anything to help you with an answer or something, I'd be more than happy to help. Okay, so yes, absolutely. Phuket-go.com is a new website in Phuket that I work for. I don't own it. It's sort of my day job, and I'm a contributing editor to that particular tome. So Phuket-go.com. And yes, I am involved in that. And from time to time, we will make sure that if you want to know about things in Phuket, we usually refer to phuket-go.com. There are other very good media in Phuket, and we'll often reference them, and I can recommend them as well. They do a great job. I've even worked for some of them in the past. But yes, phuket-go.com is a business that I work for here in Phuket. How old are you? I'm 63. And boxers or briefs, says Bill Ellis. Today, I'm a bit of both actually. I sort of wear boxers and briefs. All I can say is that regarding briefs and the heat and humidity, it can sometimes get a little warm and moist, if you know what I mean. The boxers do sometimes work a little bit better, just allowing a bit of breeze and for things to sort of move around in the breeze. I think I've answered that as well as I possibly could. Thank you. I have just been very generously given a coffee.
Give me a coffee, yeah. I came all the way from America to buy you coffee, Tim.
Your name is?
Daniel.
This is Daniel. Daniel's popped in to give me a coffee and a water. Daniel, what brings you to Phuket?
Just traveling, a little bit of a vacation, and joining a monastery next month.
Fantastic. So you're going to do a bit of the Buddhist thing?
I am going to get my hair shaven like yours. A little bit more actually, but somewhat like that.
They're going to take your eyebrows and everything.
Yeah, I hope not everything, but the eyebrows. Yeah.
And so, how did you know about TNT and the channel?
I followed you since your previous gig, and then I said, well, this is a better gig, so I started following you rather than the other gig.
Well, look, thank you very much for the coffee and water. That's very kind, and good luck with your visit to the monastery.
Thank you very much indeed.
Okay.
And good luck further.
Thank you very much, Daniel. Very kind there. Daniel giving me a coffee. That's fantastic. Love it. Good coffee. Ugh. So thank you very much to Daniel for bringing that along. And I'll just put my microphone back on, just up here. A little bit of an interruption there. The best thing that happened all day. So Daniel coming to Thailand to take advantage of going to a monastery. And a lot of people do come over, and they come over and they visit monasteries, and it's a great idea for those people that sort of want a holiday with a difference, that you can come and participate, learn a lot about Buddhism from the inside, and actually go and visit a. Somebody just mentioned Jet Gunther, who I used to work with in my previous employment. I was suddenly stunned. Thank you, Chicano on the go. Jet, he often, I think annually, he goes on a monastery retreat. Not one where he gets his head shaved and becomes a monk, but where he basically goes into a situation of total silence for 10 days. No mobile phones, meditation all day, no one talks, no music. So Mark Lynn is promoting a party tonight at Pat's LK Metro Cave. Good luck to you, Mark. That's entirely the opposite to what Jet does each year. I think Jet's coming down in a couple of weeks to Phuket for some of his real estate business stuff, and so hopefully I'll catch up with Jet then. He's a good man, Jet. And like Danny, enjoys just getting a bit of solace and a change of lifestyle. This is the best part of the latte, the foam on top. Where was I? Okay. That guy might start a trend. Chicano on the go. Look, it's not something I've done. The idea of 10 days of silence, well, it would be hard to do the program. Wouldn't it be fun each morning going for half an hour? Probably might be better than the usual program. But no, we won't be doing that. But for those people that sort of want a little bit of an opportunity to have a holiday with a difference, and may I say a cheap holiday with a difference, coming to Thailand and going to a monastery or to a temple, even for a day, might be something that you could consider, just to sort of see Thai Buddhism, which is its own variety of Buddhism, from the inside. So something that might be interesting to consider. Very kind of Daniel to do that, and I'm enjoying my coffee, so excuse me. By the time I talk to you each morning, I've finished my first coffee. By the way, I'm at Dean and DeLuca. I should give them a plug because I am using their Wi-Fi, and I'm sitting in a corner. For those people saying, oh, you must be bothering the customers, there's people sitting right next to me, they can't hear me. Coffee. Hit the like and subscribe button, says Mark. 3R Starbucks, there will be many smiles. I don't know. No, I don't need Viagra yet. Well done, Daniel. Sounds like people are leaving. I don't know. We're not going to read that. Okay. So, oh, geez, trying to scroll back. The other thing I was going to have a talk about, just while I'm getting my situation back under control, is the road situation in Phuket. Now, you'd be aware that Wednesday week ago, that's 10 days ago, a section of the Patong Road, the Patong Hill Road, which is the road that 99% of people going to Patong will go over to get into the party town, it collapsed. Some 50-metre section just went down the hill. There were 3 lanes, there's only 2 lanes now, and the second lane has got some cracks in it. They have since allowed, since last Sunday, firstly pedestrians to walk right over the very edge next to the the hill, and then later motorbikes are now able to traverse in both directions, right against the hill, which they consider has got enough soil underneath it and is not likely to go cascading down the hill. So I think they're mad, personally. Look, I mean, if that road is clearly damaged, but they're running the province and they can allow those people, mostly 99% local people, who just need to get to the hospital, they need to get to schools. So their passage through the hill is not to go and have a good time in Patong, it's to basically just go about their daily lives. Now, they have said they're going to get repairs done on that road in the next 2 weeks. I just don't see how they can possibly do that without taking extreme fast track shortcuts. So to do that job properly, they'd have to put in proper concrete pillars, they'd have to elevate some sort of platform, go down, 10, 20 metres. I'm not an engineer, but that really should take 6 to 12 months to be done properly. I'm not sure if they intend to do that, or they're going to have to sort of slice right into the hill and find some more solid ground to build the new road on. Anyway, they are also putting in another side road. So that was interesting, that there are a few local tracks that are used by the locals to get up and down that hill. They're literally just mud tracks. They're now trying to turn those tracks into roads. I'm not sure to what extent they're going to put gravel on them or even some sort of tar, but they are trying to find another access route into Patong. But you can still get in from the north and south from Karon and from Kamala, and that's along the coastal roads, and they're still open. A lot of them were closed, so yeah, it's going to be difficult for Patong, and people can still arrive at the airport, but they go down the coastal route now through Cheung Chile, Surin, Kamala, and then into Patong. Otherwise, they used to get over the mountain. So I think what's happening there is a farce. They really need to say to the tourists, this is what we're going to do, this is the budget we're going to spend. They said they're going to spend 5.9 million baht on the repairs. I mean, that would hardly buy the sand they need. How are they going to put anything under that road and then build pillars and some sort of retaining wall for 5.9 million baht? I mean, the whole thing is ridiculous. And the tourists deserve better, the locals deserve better. And really, all the people who own transport businesses and tour companies and tuk-tuks and taxis and buses, they all deserve better. And they need to be assured that when they go over that hill, that they're not going to have a small fear of ending up cascading down that road again. Now, other parts of the Patong Hill Road have collapsed over the years, and some have been rebuilt, and some have re-collapsed again. So it's not as if that hill's, this is the first time it's happened. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens. I'm going to do one of the programs from the Patong Hill repairs next week. Thanks, Danny. Enjoying my coffee. Kind man. If anybody else feels like coming down to Dean and DeLuca on a Saturday morning, that's about the nicest thing you can do. Other people come and throw things at me. Don't do that. Do what Daniel does. Okay, so Tim, I got here yesterday. Have to get the party going. Thank you very much, Mark. You got here. Where is here? You might like to tell us where you are. Just scrolling down a bit. Like hot photo, my sister. Oh, I might just delete that one. Remove, hide user on this channel. Bye-bye. Sexchat69.site. Chicano on the go. The Hawaiian shirts I bought from him are a little tight. I don't usually wear extra small. Not sure, I missed out on that part of the conversation. Put a tax on the taxi mafia. Look, what's happening on Patong Hill Road is a separate issue entirely from the alleged taxi mafia in Phuket. I actually caught a taxi back from the airport. I usually used to get picked up on my weekly trips up and back from Bangkok, but I took a taxi, first time probably in about 7 or 8 years, and I was talking to the taxi driver, whose English was okay. He used the word taxi mafia himself, and he laughed. I had to pay a fixed fee, plus a tax, a 10% tax. I'm not sure what the tax was for, but they insisted. I said, what is the tax for? I need to know. They wouldn't tell me. So it was a fixed fee of 650 baht. That route, by the way, I've worked out many times, would cost around about 150 to 170 baht, that same distance and time in Bangkok. But here in Phuket, it's a fixed rate. There's no taxi meters. If you want to use the taxi meters, they're all turbocharged anyway. And so I paid 650 baht for a trip that should have cost around about 170 baht instead. So the taxi mafia is a different issue. I've addressed that in the past. I'll continue to address it. We really need to get rid of this cabal running Phuket transport for the benefit of Phuket citizens, for the people who work in the transport industry here in Phuket, and of course for tourists. Agree, but some old Thailand, it's the quick fix option, cheap and nasty, says Andrew Rogers. Taxi mafia is just as bad at Sydney Airport now. How did I get from Sydney Airport? Oh, we hired a car. So that was it, had a car. By the way, just a point of interest, I had, for the entire trip in Australia, I had a little Toyota Corolla hybrid. Now, to sit in, the front seats, perfectly adequate, completely adequate, if not unimpressive. It was a perfectly adequate little car. It was clean, it was quiet, wasn't much road noise. I mean, it didn't go, it wasn't a BMW something series or a Lamborghini, but it was a very comfortable little car to drive for the whole trip from Melbourne down south into Gippsland and then along the New South Wales coast up to Sydney. We got through 1 tank of petrol. We didn't even get through the full tank. So very, very, very frugal in the way of petrol. And when you were driving, you couldn't tell when the electric engine was working and when the petrol engine was working. It had both. All you could see was the RPMs just drop off on the tachometer. And you said, oh, okay, well, the electric engine's working, but you couldn't actually hear anything different. So that was a very nice, comfortable little car. Not a lot of room in the back. If we were carrying passengers, I think it would have been a much tighter ride. But as far as two people riding in the two front seats, warmly recommend a cheap and cheerful Toyota Corolla Hybrid. Thank you very much to Avis Rent-A-Car for the car. Good service, easy to sign in, easy to check the car in at the other end. Jason, you're addressing the Patong Hill, the tunnel. So the tunnel into Patong this issue's been going on for some 20 years, and countless investigations and inquiries have been made, environmental statements have been prepared, and it's all go, but it just never seems to start. Maybe this latest issue of a large chunk of the Patong Hill Road falling and collapsing might exacerbate the start of the Patong Hill Tunnel. It's something that should have happened years ago. It's a major Thai infrastructure project, but it's a perfect place to do it. The Patong Hill Road, even if they fix the road, is always going to be dangerous and windy, and you've got buses and you've got scooters and you've got people racing on motorbikes and you've got cars and a few pedestrians. I mean, it's just a horror show. And every time I go up Patong Hill, I just sort of go very carefully and switch my brain on and just make sure I'm very engaged and checking all the traffic and the people around me. So putting in the Patong Hill Tunnel would be a very sensible thing to do. Money well spent, and there's probably no more important infrastructure project connecting Thailand to one of its main tourist attractions, I use the term loosely, as Patong. It's a money spinner for Phuket and the Thai government, so it's really worth them spending the money at last on a project that's been planned for some 20 years. Okay, just scrolling down, message, delete. Yes, I did delete those messages to that person. Best part of going to Australia is leaving, says Mick Fitz. Well, I didn't feel like that. I mean, I was very glad to be home. There are so many things I love about Australia. As I said in a quick blog last week, I am Australian, born in Australia. I love the country. I love many things about the opportunities it gave me as a young person and the lifestyle it afforded my parents, myself and my family. But I made the decision to go on a bit of an adventure when I was 51, 52 years old and spend the second half of my life in a foreign country. And that's what I'm doing. The fact that it's turned out well for me is partly to do through determination, grit, hard work, and not expecting Thailand to be like Australia. Because if you come to Thailand, expect it to be like where you came from, you're going to be, well, disappointed. Thailand is unique. It's unique to other Asian countries. And it's got all the main things, the big picture things. I think it's got a big tick. Lifestyle, cost of living, weather, forgetting the floodings we've had the last couple of weeks around the country. But the big ticket items, I find, even political stability. I know it's run by a sort of a quasi-military junta, quasi-democracy, but it has been relatively stable and peaceful. Also, I suppose, turning a blind eye to what's happening down in the deep south. But all the million and one little annoyances about living in Thailand, I find, are vastly outweighed by the big ticket things. So that's my perception, but it's not for everybody. And even when you come to Thailand, depending on where you live, there are some places that are going to be more suited to people than others. I chose Phuket. I like the beaches, I like the lifestyle, I like the opportunity to get to a good hospital if I need to go to a Western style sort of shopping centre, mall if you like, when I need to. Also have access to good services. and a fairly vibrant expat population. So that's why I chose Phuket. But a lot of people prefer Pattaya, Hua Hin, the northeast, Kon Kan, Udon Ratchathani, places like Chiang Mai. So there's all sorts of different vibes, including the capital city, Bangkok, which is a whole conversation that deserves time spent by itself. If you are coming to Thailand to look at retirement, you have to spend some time, do your homework, go and spend a week in 4 or 5 key places. Again, we'll be providing in our TNT choices sort of a concierge service where we'll be able to make some recommendations to people, which we'll charge for. Yeah, we're hoping to be able to provide, just Daniel waving goodbye, provide services helping people who are thinking of retiring in Thailand to, or a long stay if you're less than 50, to how to do it properly, and how not to make some mistakes that a lot of people do. Okay, Mark Batchelor. I did the same, Tim. I left UK at 49 and 5 years later, I'm still here and living near Asok in Bangkok. Love it all. Well, I had an apartment in Asok for a year. Asok. I hope you're enjoying your time here, and thank you very much for the message, Mark. Did you miss immediately anything about Australia when you left? Chicano on the go. No, not really. I mean, I love cherry ripes. I mentioned, I think I even posted on my Facebook page that I should have brought a batch of cherry ripes back with me. They're dark chocolate around sort of coconut cherry inside. Yum, yum, yum. So if you are coming to Dean and DeLuca and you'd like to bring a cherry ripe, that would also be gratefully accepted. Gunnar Hopstad, sorry to say, but Thailand's way of running the country as a democratic country does not work at all. Gunnar, I hear what you say. The point is, though, is really that something that should concern you? If you're coming here as a guest of the country, firstly, you can't vote. You can attend a protest if you want. It's probably not recommended. And certainly you don't want to get into any trouble with the police. Beyond that, though, does it affect you how they run the country? Okay, there might be some queues here and there. You may not like the way they run the immigration department, but on a day-to-day basis, does the type of government they have in Thailand really affect you? So I think that's a question worth asking. Yes, I would prefer they had free and fair elections. I would prefer they had a better democratic process, but that is something for the Thais to work out. And of course, we'll be watching the next election with interest, and there will be an election, and there will be some shenanigans after the election, but let's wait and see. I think the situation generally is that Thailand is relatively, I'm talking about the main population centres, a very peaceful place. And as I've said many times, there are places in Australia I wouldn't walk by myself at night. But there's probably no place I wouldn't walk at night time in Thailand by myself. So I perceive it as generally a very peaceful, safe place to stay. Okay, what is a cherry ripe? As I just said, it's a chocolate bar. It's got dark chocolate on the outside. It's got coconut and cherry on the inside. And it is 3 or 4 minutes of oral bliss. I can't really describe it any other way. I love cherry ripes, and they're hard to come by in Thailand. Live in Thailand, create a bubble, and live happy on the beach, relaxing. What a way to go. Andrew, you're sort of right. I mean, if you just sort of pick your place in Thailand, you stay out of trouble, you pay your taxes if you're working, you go to immigration every 90 days or whatever you have to do to make sure you can stay here. And I think it's a great lifestyle. And all those other things happening in the political realm here in Thailand, you don't have to worry about it. I mean, if you want to worry about it, well, that's up to you. But you don't have to. And as Andrew said, you can just plant yourself on a beach, pay bugger all rent, and have a great lifestyle if you so choose. Mark Lynn says, Thai immigration on entering this time was fantastic, fast, friendly, just good. Mark, I can agree with that. When I arrived on Tuesday, it was around about 11:30. We were the only international flight arriving at the time. The whole international gates were empty other than our Scoot flight. And I was first, because I was at the front of the plane, I was first in at immigration, and I was in Thailand officially in about 1 minute's time, and delivered with a smile, which, yeah, I would say is probably something that I haven't had a lot of times with my experience with immigration in the past. Reportedly, media and travel. Reportify media and travel. Is Thailand looking forward to China opening? My friends here in China picked Thailand and the first place to visit when it's open. Yeah, I'd say a lot of people in Thailand are looking forward to the Chinese tourists coming back. They were big spenders. They didn't stay for long, mostly 3-4 days maximum. They didn't stay as long as some of the European, the UK, the Australian or the American visitors, but they spent big when they were here. And not as many people say with just Chinese companies. I know about the $0 kerfuffle that's been going on. That's been cracked down very, very hard. And the Chinese are big spenders when they do come to Thailand. So I'd say that most Thai vendors, shop owners would be very keen. Tour guides, people running tour companies would be keen for the Chinese to come back to Thailand very soon. Mark Fitz, streets are safe. I feel safe anywhere in Phuket at all hours of the day. Can't say the same anywhere else in the West. The Aussie wee. I'm trying to say it, Aussie wee. You're half Kiwi, half Australian. I think that's what you're trying to tell me. Anyway, it's true, the ground in Australia not worth walking on. That's why the kangaroo hops. It's the Kiwi half commenting, I think. So you are half Kiwi. My Kiwi half comes from the centre of the North Island, a little town called Cambridge, where my grandparents lived. That hotel surely predates COVID by many years. Which hotel are we talking about? You can buy cherry ripe on Lazada. Good point. I might try that. I'll see if I can buy a cherry ripe and how much it is on Lazada. Just subscribe to your new channel, Tim. Thank you, Thug Life. Okay, well, I'll take it from anybody. I'm so amazed. I think I'm up by over 12,000 subscribers now. That's a really great result, and I'm very, very grateful for the people that take the time to watch me each day. I'm trying to do the program better each day, trying to make sure it's slicker, faster, pack as much information as I can into it. But it's a big commitment each day, but it's working out really well, and the fact that you're watching, of course, makes it all worthwhile. Richard Evans, I feel safer walking late at night in Thailand than many parts of Australia. It's because you don't know you're walking into a dicey area, says Tom Yum Guy. Chicano on the go. Are cherry ripes similar to chocolate-covered strawberries? Oh, no. The centre of a cherry ripe, it's, crunched up cherries, allegedly, or something pink. They say it's cherry. Coconut, there's a lot of coconut in there, a lot of sugar, some sort of goo to make it all stick together, then covered in dark chocolate. So it's not really like a strawberry. It hasn't sort of got that tart, sour taste of a strawberry. How many baht? How many baht is what? Okay, I don't know what you're talking about there. Okay, just scrolling back to see live in Thailand, shop at IKEA, says Bill Ellis. Oh, now, no, that's right, yes. When in Sydney, I went to the Sydney IKEA store. Now, Phuket's got an IKEA store, but let me say that the IKEA restaurant, just the restaurant at the Sydney IKEA, sort of out in the Rockdale area, just south of Sydney. Huge. The restaurant, just the restaurant, was twice as big as the entire, I'm pointing to where it is, Phuket IKEA. I walked around the Sydney IKEA. It was like visiting a temple. I felt like I was walking on holy ground. It was magnificent. So if you want to see an amazing retail phenomenon, you should go for a walk around the Sydney IKEA store. What did I have in the restaurant? I had the Swedish meatballs, of course. A few more comments and then we'll probably wrap it up. How are we going today for time? Oh, just over 1 hour. And I do apologise for the early problems we had with the connection. Tim should have put that guy Daniel to work and made him review the comments. That would have been a good idea. I am hoping to have somebody sitting here at some stage. I just need to sit down for half an hour and work out the best way to do this Saturday morning program. I want to keep doing it, but it would be good to have somebody going through the comments and participating and even helping to answer some of the questions. Cambridge, a lovely part of the world. Race horses, farming, my favourite place in New Zealand. Yes, my grandfather used to breed dogs. Good morning. And yeah, he did there's a lot of sheep in Thailand, in New Zealand. 625 baht for 12 blocks of cherry ripe. I'm going to jump on Lazada after this program and see if I can order a few. They taste great, but I don't think they're very good for the diet. Just thinking. Get Sue to help you. Sue Altman. Sue is a very, very, very busy lady. And as much as I'd love to have Sue sitting next to me, I suspect that she might be a little bit busy. Jet'd charge me a fortune. He wouldn't want to sit next to me anyway. Unless I was paying for breakfast. That hotel surely predates. Okay, just subscribe to your channel. Cherry Ripe, I think we're sort of getting to the end of it. Anyway, again, apologies for the early hiccups with the connections. Thank you to all those people that have subscribed to the channel. Thank you to those 3 people for your very, very kind donations during the program. I am going to be investing in some new equipment and yeah, so we want to grow the channel gently, slowly, with your support and make sure we continue to give you good, correct, filtered information about things that you want to know about and things you need to know about Thailand. That's sort of our central purpose. So during the week, as I mentioned yesterday, we did cross a few milestones, which stunned me because I had a bit of a plan early on and we've exceeded that plan by quite a long way. So I think over 12,000 subscribers, wow. So I hope I live up to your expectations and I can continue to do a good program. And as far as travelling around the country, we've got Don Jordan saying, Tim, make a road trip to Isan. Beautiful up here. I know it's beautiful up in Isan. I hope to do some sort of road trip. There might be one coming up sooner rather than later, but it's not necessarily easy. You do have to make sure you've got good Wi-Fi and you've got to make sure you've got everything powered and connecting and you've got to also find a place you can do it. I'm lucky here, I'm sort of in a corner. I'm not annoying anybody, but every place you do it, you've got to sort of find a place to do it. And there's no use sitting in your hotel room and doing the program. And what's the use saying, oh, I'm in my hotel room. By the way, there's a beautiful temple outside the window. Thug Life, glad I found your channel. Thank you, Thug Life. I remember when from Eon FM. Okay, so no, I wasn't involved with Eon FM in Melbourne, one of the first FM stations, by the way. It eventually became, I hope I got this right, Triple M FM, and I was involved with the news reading on Triple M FM in Melbourne, as well as Fox FM, which is where I got the idea for another animal name for a FM station here in Phuket, and also a Gold FM. I was reading news for them as well. It was actually all in one newsroom, and we used to do the news services for 3 different styles of radio, and we had to have 3 different ways of presenting the news for the different audiences, a sort of a male 30-year-old audience, a sort of 40 plus female audience. And what was the other one? A fox. A fox was sort of middle of the road. So that was interesting days where I sort of got my background in delivering news, I suppose. Hit the Leo before the like button. It's only 10 o'clock in the morning. What is the must-visit first place to go when I land in Phuket? Says Albert Coe. Oh, there's a hard one. Depends where you're staying. There's a lot to see in Phuket. Look, I think, frankly, I would go to visit a beach because there are 30 really good beaches in Phuket. Patong Beach isn't anything to talk about. It's 3 kilometres of beach, but it's the town behind the beach that I suppose has made Patong famous. The beach is, Kamala Beach is lovely. Maikau Beach, you could probably go there at the moment and not see a tourist all day, although be very careful if you're going into the water and obey the red flags if they're up, because up on those northern beaches they have a nasty shore break during the monsoon. Also, I could recommend Naihan Beach in the south. As far as a place to go for some afternoon drinks and a meal, head down to Rawai. If you go up to the Big Buddha, it's up on one of the highest hills in Phuket, and there's a 45-metre high Buddha there, but you get a view across both sides of the island of Phuket. So that's certainly worth a visit as well. But I'm not going to sit here being a sort of a Phuket Tourism Authority. But the first place I'd go is probably go and have a look at one of the beautiful beaches, because that's the reason that most people came to Phuket in the first place. It was a tropical beach paradise. That has changed. It's much more of a sort of an urban tropical island these days. But I'd be heading to the beach and have a good time. So we will be having a day off tomorrow. I'll be back on Monday with the normal TNT. Hopefully try and get it up at around about 9 a.m. in the morning. And we look forward to delivering the news for you. We hope you have a fantastic weekend. I thank you very much for joining the program. Thank you to those people who were kind enough to donate. Thank you to Daniel for the coffee and the water. And thank you for watching. We'll see you soon.